Hey Star Wars fans, my name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Rebels Season 3. And we're going to take a look at this recent Thrawn trailer and talk about these character profiles that just got posted the other day over at makingstarwarsnews.net. So Rebels Season 3, I'm starting the hype train, so y'all get hyped. But like I said, first thing we're going to do is take a look at this Thrawn trailer.
Whoa. I study the art of war. Work to perfect it. To defeat an enemy, you must know them. I will pull the rebels apart, piece by piece. They'll be the architects of their own destruction.
Wow. That's cool. So, the one thing I noticed was, Thrawn said that the rebels are going to he's going to use them. They're going to lead their way to their own destruction, right? And we know that Thrawn is a master tactician. I'm guessing that he's going to find their weaknesses or their strengths and turn their strengths into their own weaknesses. So he's going to exploit their tendencies. The other thing I noticed was that when we're seeing the flashes of characters and he's talking about the rebels, we also see Maul. So I'm under the impression that Thrawn is just out to get everyone and that there's possibly going to be some kind of alliance with Maul. And that's something that Sam Witwer actually has talked about in interviews, as he says that as Ezra starts to grow in power and Maul is kind of, we saw it in the Twilight of the Apprentice episode. Maul basically says, look, this Ezra kid, he's my apprentice now. So Ezra's like, this is the only classically trained Force user. Why can't we use this guy as a resource? And that's going to come up again as we go through these character profiles. So these are coming from makingstarwars.net. And the first one is Maul, who I was just talking about. So it says, now freed from the dark depths of Malachor, Maul is running amok in the galaxy, driven by a decades-long thirst for vengeance that risks clouding his sanity. The restless former Sith Lord hopes to heal old wounds by completing a task he should have done years ago. Though Maul has found that the galaxy has changed much during his exile, the dark side trickster knows where a few secrets are buried. So the person that wrote the article on makingstarwarsnews.net kind of guessed that Maul could be going after Obi-Wan Kenobi and bringing back that rivalry. I, however, don't think that's the case. I think that Maul has moved on past his rivalry with Obi-Wan. Sorry to disappoint a lot of you. I know some people are going to disagree with me on that. I really don't care. Sam Witwer kind of said that Maul has moved on. So the last time we saw Maul, it was after his mother was killed by Sidious, Tyrannus, and General Grievous. Well, we know that Tyrannus is off the map. Grievous is off the map. They both died at the end of the Clone Wars. And I kind of feel like Maul doesn't feel like he can really touch Sidious. So what's the last thing we saw, or the last place we saw him? And that was him being carried off by the Death Watch. And then when we see him again, he's exiled on Malachor. He doesn't have the Darksaber, which he had when we last saw him, right? He's constructed a new double-bladed lightsaber or saber staff, whatever you want to call it. So my guess is that whatever this rivalry has, these old wounds, it's got something to do with Death Watch, the Mandalorians, and Maul. And I think we know that we're going to see Sabine with the Darksaber. I think that Sabine getting that Darksaber Maul is going to play a part in that storyline. And we do know that she's going to have a big Mandalorian arc. So I think that there's going to be some butting heads when Sabine comes into contact with the Death Watch, with these other Mandalorians that we saw in that episode from season 2, and with Maul's involvement with the Mandalorians, which could possibly have something to do with him being exiled. since he was last seen under the protection of House Vizsla. Next one is Grand Admiral Thrawn. A methodical, tactical genius, Grand Admiral Thrawn is summoned by Governor Price to bring an end to the growing rebel threat. Thrawn is coldly analytical and values information above everything else. The only officer in the Imperial fleet of Chiss descent, Thrawn earned his position through decisive victories where he used his brilliant mind to thoroughly outmaneuver his enemies. So, there's nothing really left to say about Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's pretty much describes him, and we're just going to have to tune in to season 3 to learn more about Thrawn, and wait until April of 2017 to read the new Thrawn novel by Timothy Zahn. I am going to say that all the stuff that we've seen of Thrawn, based on what I've heard, all of the stuff from the season 3 trailer, those are like the first 5 to 6 episodes of season 3. So I think we're going to see a lot of Thrawn, and there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on too. Anyway, last profile is on Ezra. So it says Ezra's strength in the Force continues to grow, but so does his recklessness. After the confrontation with Darth Vader on Malachor, Ezra secretly worries if he's powerful enough to defeat the dark side. Now 17 years old, he becomes more daring as the rebel missions become more dangerous. He is rising in status in the rebellion and gaining more responsibility. So right now, Ezra's 17, and he's like 2 weeks or a week older than Leia and Luke. So if they were 19 at the Battle of Yavin when the first Death Star was destroyed, that means we're about 2 years out from Rogue One, those events. And Rebels has just been renewed for season 4. They're working on season 4 right now. So we know that there's at least going to be 4 seasons, meaning Ezra could possibly be 18 when we pick up in the next season, right? And as far as this one, from listening to Tia Sakar talk in various interviews, we're going to see a much different Ezra. He's becoming much more confident, possibly overconfident, and we're going to see Ezra struggle with the dark side based on whatever he's learned from the Sith holocron, whatever Maul is teaching him, and just people seeing him as more of a leader, right? He's thrust into this leadership role where before we saw him as this goofy kid with the big nose and Bieber hair. So I mean, you guys saw how I reacted to that first teaser that we saw from season 3, and then the actual season 3, the first half trailer. Like, I'm really excited to see what Ezra's going to do, what he becomes, and where his story goes, right? This is just my prediction. I don't think Ezra's going to be a Jedi by the time Rebels runs its course. I'm not going to say that I think he's going to die. I think he just won't be a Jedi, and he'll be somewhere else during the events of the original saga, right? Which mainly focuses on Luke, Leia, and Han Solo, as I've said other times. So it's completely plausible for Phoenix Squadron to still be alive and active during the episodes 4 through 6. It's just that they're not involved in the battles and the events that we see in the original saga. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. This is September, and Star Wars Rebels Season 3 will be coming to us on September the 24th. So I'm going to try to put out at least one Rebels-related video a day leading up to the debut of Star Wars Rebels in about, 3 weeks? Time is ticking, and I'm getting excited. So make sure to check back for that. But my next video will probably be a fan question where I'm going to talk about what the Force means in Star Wars and what it means if you're trying to live like a real-life Jedi, or what I prefer to call an urban acolyte. So check back for that. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video, so thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the Force be with you. Always.